Hey guys, we're going to be making a Amazon Simple Storage service, which we normally call it Amazon S3. It is a service that we use to store data, but of course in our case we'll be storing it as a static website. Go to my sample website folder. Within my sample website folder, I have an index.html. Let's open that one up. It is very, very simple. With this one is just I created an HTML file with a tag, a H1 tag, which is a header. And let's actually open it up just to view how it will look on the website. Let's do it open with Google Chrome. So you can see it says sample website, and this is what I'm going to show in S3. So let me go and sign into the console. By default, it has your recent visit services, but if you guys don't have the S3 as a service as a recent, let's go to services and go to storage section and click on S3. Everything that you hold in S3 are actually under buckets. So what I'm going to do is create a bucket. We give it a bucket name. Let's say sample website. Keep the region as is. Where the bucket settings for block public access, we're going to uncheck that. And then they're extra cautious of certain things that you do. They give you warnings. So you can acknowledge that you want to accept public access and create the bucket. Actually, I think I already have a sample website, so let me just put sample website -q and create a bucket. So now we successfully created our sample website 2 bucket. So if I click into that, what you want to do is go into the properties section and click on static website hosting. By default, it gives you an endpoint that you click on to go to. What we're going to do is click on this radio button, use the bucket to host a website. In our case, we'll name it index.html. This is the default HTML file that will actually retrieve when you click on the endpoint. So let me click that. And as far as the error document, so if you were to go to this endpoint and do a /sample.html or some file that doesn't exist, it redirects you to this error document. But in our case, we're not creating an error.html. And now let's do a save. So now you get the bucket hosting with a purple check. If I want to actually go to this endpoint, let's click the endpoint. 403. The reason we have 403 forbidden is because we need to have a read to this bucket. So what I'm going to do is go back to the S3 bucket, go to permissions. We have a section right there that says bucket policy. Let's click on bucket policy. So right now we have nothing in there. So anybody that was trying to go to that endpoint, you want to allow them to read into this bucket. So what I'm going to do is click on documentation below this section. And one of the topics we actually really want to go to is the bucket policy examples. And we want to go to the read only. So granting read-only permissions to an anonymous user. We're going to copy that and go back to S3 and paste it into this section. For our resource, that's one thing we need to change. Our resource will be our ARN for this bucket. So where it says bucket policy editor ARN, we copy the ARN all the way down to the 2 in our case. And you want to paste that here You can keep the / and the star because we're going to read anything that's under this bucket. So let me paste that and save. So now what you see that the bucket policy changed to public. So now it said this bucket has public access. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and add our index.html file. So under overview, we do an upload. Add files. So I'm already in my folder, so what I can do is just click index.html and do an open and upload. So now our index.html files there, we have our permissions as well. So now I can go into properties and go back and grab that endpoint, which actually our endpoint is here, but let me just show you guys how to go back to it. If I click on endpoint again, now what you see is you see our sample website, which I uploaded to the S3 bucket. So what I'm going to do is just change the background of the H1 tag. Let's go back here and go back on my computer and let's open it with text edit. If you guys don't have text edit, you can use whatever you're familiar with as far as like editing this HTML file. So let's add a style. Let's do background. Let's change the color, maybe blue. A lot of this stuff, this style is actually used in the CSS, inline CSS, but I will actually create it. I'll open another tutorial and talk about HTML and CSS and setting up stuff up. So that'll be another video. Let's save this. Oh, and look, you can actually see it as I save the page. But what we're going to do is re-upload our index.html into the S3 bucket. So let's go back to S3. Let's go back to overview. So overview, you can upload multiple files. You can create folders. One thing about the S3, you cannot upload a folder. So it uploads individual files. So you'll have to create a folder here, manually create it and upload those files to that folder if you want it. So what I'm gonna do is do another upload. Add files, index.html. And I just do an upload. What it does, it just overrides this index.html. So you see the time changes and then the size. Now, what I want to do is go back to the endpoint and do a refresh. There you go. It's just like that. It doesn't take a while to update the index.html. Once you update it, upload it into the website, and just do a refresh on the endpoint. Everything that you changed, it is really fast. So there you guys have it. What you did is you created an S3 bucket, you added your HTML file to your S3 bucket, you turned on your you updated your permissions to read under this ARN, you created a static website hosting with this endpoint. Well, this endpoint is actually auto-generated. And that's it.